block my face. The camera will zoom in on it as it crashes to the floor. Hold on, I'll be right back. What's up again, my fellow guitar players, and especially my fellow troubadours. I get a lot of questions about the gear I use, especially the peripheral stuff. You know, strings, picks, pedals, all that delicious acoustic accoutrement, if you will. And yes, I had to look up how to spell accoutrement. So today, I'm running through the 10 most used and most asked about peripherals that I rely on, especially at my solo acoustic gigs. For each item, I'll drop an Amazon affiliate link below so you can browse it at your leisure, maybe pick it up if you are interested, or just give it a look and see if it's a good fit for you. Let's start with the first item and the most asked about and the most important, arguably. It is strings. Kind of important, right? I mean, if you've ever heard a guitar without strings, it sort of sounds like this. I, for one, don't get super fancy when it comes to strings. Maybe I'm just a cheapskate, I don't know. I don't love paying extra for, let's say, like coated strings that could be almost like double the price or more than double the price. Probably because I have to change them so often when I play live. It just doesn't pay off for me. In short, here are the strings that I mainly use. D'Addario Phosphor Bronze Light Gauge, which is a .012 to a .053 on the low E. That is the gauge. I find these strike a nice balance. They last reasonably long. They still maintain a good tone, and you can grab a single pack, 3-pack, 5-pack, 10-pack, or if you're like me and go through strings like coffee filters, this one, 25-pack. I love this. You literally, 25 sets of strings. You buy them all at once. You save some more money by doing so, and I'll have an affiliate link in the description for all of these different pack size options. Okay, they're fairly priced. They sound great. I've been using them for years. Even though D'Addario totally ghosted me when I asked for an endorsement. It's cool though. I'm not bitter. Also, occasionally I will use, where are they? Here they are. The Earthwoods by Ernie Ball. They're another phosphor bronze string. These are 12s to 54s. Very, very similar. Very, very close to the D'Addarios. Okay, so there you have it. Next up, picks. All right, let's talk about picks. Now, here's one area where I am picky. Pun was absolutely intended here. I typically use very, very thin picks. This is a 0.5 millimeter. This is a Fender touring pick. You can't get them anymore, but I'll tell you the alternative and what I also use. This is a Dunlop. This is a 0.6, the orange, okay? So the 0.5 is the red. The 0.6 is the orange, and that's the Dunlop Tortex, which is what you can get now. It's that kind of satiny sort of material. And these are my go-to for a few reasons. Mainly because I like the flexibility and the subtle attack that you get, especially for strumming. I used to swear by the Fender Touring picks, but unfortunately they don't make them anymore. So I've switched to the Dunlop Tortex, which are pretty much the same exact thing. Thin, flexible, just right for my style. And they're pretty durable too. The orange are a little bit more durable than the red. The red are a little bit thinner, and they will tend to wear out down there, if you notice, okay? I generally use the 0.5, the thinner one, the red one, the majority of the time, especially for strumming. It adds a nice compression and an even strum, an even attack. But if I need to dig in a little bit more, I'll go to the 0.6 millimeter. I don't usually go heavier than that on acoustic because I think it makes the guitar sound a little bit more metallic and harsh and gives it less dynamic range. Your mileage, of course, may vary depending on your right hand feel and what you like. You can find both of these picks in the affiliate links below. There's a link to the 24-pack and the smaller pack, whatever I could find on Amazon. Okay, so you take a look. There's 3 different links for these 2 picks. I believe the 0.5 only comes in a smaller pack size, and the orange ones come in a 24-pack or smaller pack size, depending on what you want. Check them out, see if they work for you. The next thing I'm often asked about is what kind of capo I use. And I've tried a bunch over the years. And what I don't like are these type of capos. Okay, I don't know if you can see it clearly here. I'll block my face here. And it's the kind that you kind of squeeze like this, and the spring here is just set at one tension, okay? They might be quick to throw on and off, but I can't adjust how tight this capo or how loose this capo is going to fit. So they are a gamble. If the neck is too thin, the capo doesn't grip tightly enough and your strings won't ring out clean. If the neck is too thick, it clamps down too hard and it pulls the strings too tight, making them go sharp, which is not ideal in the middle of a gig. So here's the one I use and that I recommend, okay? It's by Planet Waves, which is now owned by Diodario, okay? And it has a little screw here, so you can adjust the tightness of the spring. You could adjust how much tension this will have on the neck, and you could set it exactly for how you want on your guitar, and it still removes on and off nice and quickly. I've used these for a long time. They hold up really, really well. I always have one in my pocket. And hey, it even has this little bonus pick holder, which I never use, but maybe I'll start using it now. Who knows? I put a link for 2 different versions of the Diodario / Planet Waves capo. Okay, one is for your standard steel string, which is what I use, and then they make one that's for a nylon string or a classical, which will be slightly wider, which will accommodate those guitars. And they're not very expensive at around $22, which I consider to be a bonus. Okay, I also get asked a lot about my pedal board, my pedal configuration, and I don't use many pedals, but what I do use is this Fishman Acoustic AFX Mini Reverb Pedal. This little thing is a beast. I love it. Mostly because it's tiny. It takes up almost no room on your pedal board, which I don't use a pedal board, but no room on the floor. And that's a big deal when you're playing. Oftentimes you do not have a lot of room at your feet, and the last thing I want is some big spaceship of a reverb pedal. Now, despite its small size, the sound quality of this thing is really, really solid. It gives you 3 reverb types with this little switch, spring, hall, and plate. And lately, I've been leaning on the plate setting. It's really smooth, really subtle, but it adds a nice thickness and body to the sound that fills things out really nicely without getting in the way. You could adjust the level, how much reverb you want, how long you want the decay time to be. It's got active true bypass, a true buffered bypass. It's a really good quality pedal. I run it right after my Spark Clean Boost pedal in the signal chain. So it's the second thing in my signal chain. And just a little bit of reverb goes a long way, especially in not so good sounding rooms where your tone might otherwise sound flat or particularly boxy. Another thing that I like is having my guitar reverb be a separate reverb from my vocal reverb. It really helps the guitar carve out its own space in the mix and the vocal carve out its own space in the mix instead of everything blending together into one big wash. That separation makes your overall sound clearer and just more professional, especially if you're performing solo. And the kicker with this too, it's not that expensive. It's around $120, which is a steal when you consider that a lot of quality reverb pedals can cost more than twice as much as that. While I'm on the subject of pedals, let's talk about the first thing that is in my signal chain at my live gigs, and that is this bad boy. And this is the TC Electronic Spark Mini Clean Boost. It's another miniature sized pedal, and it's super simple, doesn't have any really effects that it adds. It just takes your signal and boosts it. But even at a very low setting, and you see the setting that I use it at, right? It somehow makes the guitar sound fuller and more alive. It's like, it almost like it gives the guitar just a little bit of heft and personality without turning up the volume itself. Now, clean boosts are often used for like solos or to cut through a mix when you just want to click on a pedal and give the guitar a volume boost. But I actually keep mine on all the time at this fairly low setting that you see it here. Okay, it just gives the tone a little bit more size, and I like what it does to the sound. It gives the guitar more body, more presence, like stepping forward out a little bit in the mix without actually getting louder. And if I do need more gain for any reason, like if my guitar is going through a board and somebody else is controlling the sound, I could always just sneak this up a little bit and give myself a little bit more volume. And a boost pedal like this is really, really great tool to have around in your toolkit. Whether you play electric or acoustic, you really kind of almost have to have a clean boost pedal. They come in really, really handy. This particular one by TC Electronic is built like a tank. It has true bypass, so when it's not engaged, it's not messing up your signal at all. And at $49, the Spark Mini is really, really hard to beat. Next up is my favorite loop pedal for gigs. Another pedal, this one I couldn't live without. And yes, it's another one from TC Electronic. You'd think that they were paying me to say this, but nope. I'm just a fan, I guess. This is hands down my favorite looping pedal for live gigs. I've talked about it in some of my other looping videos. I'll drop some links to those videos. Here it is. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. This is the Ditto X4. And it gives you, what I love about it is it gives you the ability to run two loops independently. You have loop 1 and loop 2, right? You could have them run totally independent, stacked on top of each other, or you could have one that follows after the other one based on some of these other options that you have. When you get this pedal, you can delve down in all the different ways you could use it. But that alone opens up a ton of creative possibilities, especially for solo performers. It also has a dedicated stop button right here. And a dedicated stop button is really, really important. Some loopers require you to double tap to stop, and that's just not reliable in a live setting when you need to kill a loop precisely on a downbeat. The other thing I love about this pedal is it has an effects section here, right? Where you have things like tape stops, reverse, halftime, all kinds of cool effects. But the one I use the most is fade. Really, really handy. It lets you fade out a loop just like you would on a record, but at a live show. Great, great pedal. Another one from TC Electronic, the X4 loop pedal. It's about $219, which isn't the cheapest thing in the world, but it used to be more money. And for what you're getting, it's well worth it, in my opinion. Let's talk wireless. Going wireless has been one of the best upgrades I've made for my live shows. It just makes everything way cleaner on the stage. No cables running across the floor, no tripping hazards, no fighting with tangled cords. It's a small change, but it makes a really big difference in your setup and your movement and even your mindset on stage. I actually use two different X5 wireless units interchangeably, and they've both been rock solid and very, very reliable, even in outdoor or noisy environments. Even here in New York, where it's very busy and there's a lot of interference, I've been very, very lucky with these two devices. One is the one is the U2, okay? This is the original model. It's a 2.4 gigahertz, and it's compact. It charges via USB very quickly. It gives you 5 hours of usage per charge, and it works great on acoustic or electric guitar. I also use them in the house. The other one is the A58, and this is the upgraded version. It's also known as the A2 in some listings, depending. It's upgraded. It's got slightly better shielding, lower latency, and it's marketed more toward like higher output instruments. You could use it with active instruments as well, active pickups. But honestly, for all intents and purposes, I don't see any difference between the two in practical usage. The A58 is a little bulkier, comes with a little carrying case, which is cool, but both are very easy to use. You can't go wrong with either one. I've linked to both of them below, and the prices fluctuate between the two, so you might actually find the A58 sometimes is actually cheaper than the U2, even though it's the upgraded version. So, check them both out. I would say whatever one you get a better deal on, you can't go wrong with. That's the X5 wireless units, the U2 and the A58. They're better than any of the other wireless brands that I've tried, so check them out. Next up is my Ride or Die tuner. I probably should have mentioned this first because this thing is like a part of my body. This is the TC Electronic Polytune clip-on tuner. It's been with me through thick and thin. It's hands down the best clip-on tuner I've ever used. And yep, it's another one from TC Electronic. Seriously, at this point, they should at least send me a thank you card. Anything. It's just a rock solid, super accurate, easy to read, built like a tank tuner. I own 2 of them. One lives right next to my wallet and keys, so I never leave home without it. And the other stays here in my YouTube studio. At around $56, it's definitely on the pricier end of clip-on tuners, but I've been through them all, and those cheap clip-on tuners, they're just not that good. In my opinion, this thing is worth every penny. That said, I did snag my other one for $36 during an Amazon sale, so if you're patient, you might catch a deal too. If you're tired of clip-on tuners that glitch out, lag, aren't accurate, or just break and feel flimsy, this one will be a very big upgrade. 1, 2. Next up, the classic, the Shure SM58. This classic always delivers. If you've ever sung into a mic at a venue, chances are it was a Shure SM58. This thing is a legend, rugged, reliable, great sounding. I've tried other mics over the years, but I always end up coming back to this one. It's warm, it's got a focused tone, it handles plosives well, like if you really get on it. It's built like a tank. This thing survives drops, drinks, all kinds of chaos that happens on the stage. And here's the thing, you don't need to spend money on some fancy live condenser mic. For most acoustic gigs, especially in louder rooms, a good dynamic mic like the SM58 is actually the better choice. It's more resistant to feedback, it isolates your voice better, it's very flattering to the human voice, and it just works. So keep it simple. If you're playing out regularly, you want something you could trust night after night, the SM58, $99 is still the gold standard. And last but definitely not least is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, because if there's no footage, then it didn't happen. Check this thing out. Pretty cool, huh? This thing is a device that I have been pounding the table about for months. And I even did a dedicated video on this device. I'll put a link in the description. Definitely go watch it. This little camera is a game changer. Look at it. Now I'm recording myself. Hello, Frank. You might be thinking, why would a camera make the list? Well, the truth is that if you're a musician who wishes to go out there and get gigs, in this day and age, you absolutely need video content, and video content with good quality audio. This is what you need, and that's where this device comes in. The Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Bundle, which is what I recommend you get. It's the one that comes with the extra battery, with the wireless microphone, all the things that you need to really put this item to use. It's the best camera to bring along to record your shows. It's tiny, it's stabilized footage, the image quality is unbelievably good for such a small device. You could set it up discreetly, easily at a gig, hit record, and I know I'm getting smooth footage without needing a giant camera setup. And it breaks down and fits in this tiny little bag. You can literally clip it on your belt, however you want to do it. This thing, you can just take it with you anywhere. And like they say, the best camera is the one that you have with you. So for solo performers who want to record content without having a camera crew or hiring people or complicated gear that you don't know how to use, this thing is impossible to beat. I do strongly suggest that you watch the video that I made covering the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Okay, this device can be the difference between getting gigs and not getting gigs. I love this thing. So there you have it, the 10 items that I most often get asked about or that I think are essential to my gigs. There are more, but I had to pick 10, right? Please leave me your ideas in the description of what are your 10 essential items. Let me know what your thoughts are. Check out those Amazon affiliate links and browse these items. Perhaps they will work for you. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Once again, I'm Frank Persico. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.